Hello, welcome to the BT360 podcast, What's Up in Business Travel, a weekly podcast where we update you on what's up this week in the world of business travel. This podcast is great for those who need to know what's happening, all in less than 15 minutes. My name is Ash. Let's get started. It is the week of November 3rd, and we've completed week 44 of 2025. As a reminder, BusinessTravel360.com is a great resource to take advantage of for everything business travel. Here you can listen to the best podcasts in travel, take advantage of bonus points and status match offers that the airlines and hotels are offering. Check all of this out at BusinessTravel360.com. Now, let's get to the headlines. Travel management company Navan began trading as a public company on the Nasdaq Global Select Market. Navan offered nearly 30 million shares, and existing investors offered nearly 7 million in an initial public offering priced at $25 per share. The stock under the symbol NAVN on the Nasdaq ended close Thursday at $20 a share, down 20% from its opening price. Navan filed a registration statement with the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission in June. The company earlier this month had set a valuation of $6.45 billion, with plans to raise about $960 million in the IPO. The American Hotel and Lodging Association and other hotel trade groups are urging Congress to end the government shutdown, claiming that the U.S. hotel industry has lost $650 million in business so far because of it. The AHLA and more than 30 other hotel and lodging associations sent a letter to House Speaker Mike Johnson and the House Senate majority and minority leaders. The letter said that each day of the shutdown is costing the economy $31 million in activity, which would have been generated by hotel stays. According to the AHLA, the U.S. hotel industry supports 2.1 million direct jobs and nearly 9 million total jobs nationwide, generating almost $900 billion in GDP annually. In its tracker on the website, the U.S. Travel Association said the U.S. had already lost $3.3 billion in travel spending since the shutdown began on October 1st. A shortage of air traffic controllers has caused more flight disruptions around the country as controllers braced for the first week of missing a paycheck during the federal government shutdown. The FAA reported staffing-related delays on Monday afternoon, averaging about 20 minutes at the airport in Dallas and 40 minutes at Austin and Newark Airport. The delays in Austin followed a brief ground stop at the airport, meaning that flights were held at the originating spots until the FAA lifted the stop. Last week, the U.S. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy had predicted that travelers would start to see more flights delayed and canceled as the nation's air traffic controllers work without pay during the shutdown.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Imagine booking a flight, reserving a hotel, and filing your expense report, all during your favorite coffee break at your desk. That's what Italite makes possible, a modern, all-in-one platform for business travel and expenses. Why choose Italite? Because we combine smart technology with effortless workflows, helping companies save money while making travel simpler and faster for employees. Italite, the smarter way to travel for work. Discover more at italite.com.
Now in news that impacts the travel industry. JetBlue's yields are up in the third quarter. While JetBlue continues to limit its participation in the corporate travel market, the third quarter brought an increase in the sector's demand for the airline, with managed corporate travel yields up in the high single digits year over year. JetBlue reported third quarter passenger revenue of more than $2.1 billion, a 3% decrease year over year. Total revenue was more than $2.3 billion, representing a less than 2% decline. JetBlue's third quarter net loss was $143 million, compared with a $60 million loss last year. Capacity increased by almost 1% year over year, and the average fuel cost for the period was $2.49 per gallon. Third quarter corporate travel revenue at the Alaska Air group of airlines, including Alaska Airlines and Hawaiian Airlines, increased 8% year over year, while close-in demand remained strong. The Alaska Air Group reported third quarter passenger revenue of more than $3.4 billion, up 21% year over year. Total operating revenue increased 23% to nearly $3.8 billion. The company's net income was $73 million compared with net income of $236 million in the third quarter of 2024. Unit costs, which exclude fuel, freighter costs, and special items, increased by almost 9% year over year, primarily due to the elevated recovery costs from the IT outage that resulted in irregular operations in July and several weeks of challenging weather. The U.S. Department of Transportation issued an order canceling 13 current and proposed routes for Mexican Airlines between the United States and Mexico's two major airports. The Transportation Department said Mexico has not been in compliance with a bilateral aviation agreement since 2022 when it rescinded U.S. passenger carrier slots and forced U.S. air cargo to relocate operations. The DOT in July announced new restrictions on flights from Mexico to combat Mexico's disregard of the 2015 U.S.-Mexico Air Transport Agreement. Let's get to the news of mergers and new partnerships. WestJet and its majority owner, Onyx Partners, have completed the sale of 25% of the airline to Delta Airlines, Korean Air, and Air France-KLM. The deal had been announced in May. Under the terms of the agreements, Delta acquired a 15% stake, and Korean Air acquired a 10% stake in WestJet from Onyx. Delta then sold a 2.3% stake to its joint venture partner, Air France-KLM, bringing its holdings in WestJet to 12.7%. Southwest Airlines has extended its global distribution reach through a partnership with Han Air. Travel advisors in 190 markets outside of the U.S. can now book Southwest tickets in the Amadeus GDS using Southwest's WN code and Han Air's HR 169 ticket stock. Access through the Travelport GDS will soon follow. The move is the latest by Southwest to expand its presence in retail channels. Over the last 2 years, Southwest has moved into major OTAs and meta search engines, and it was only during the pandemic that Southwest began offering full content within the major GDSs. Han Air is a tiny German airline flying business jets, but the company's primary business is connecting travel agencies in various regions of the world with airlines that do not distribute in the region. Han Air does this through hundreds of interline agreements, enabling it to sell flights operated by foreign airlines within the GDSs. Alaska Airlines and Hawaiian Airlines are now flying under a single operating certificate, a milestone in the airline's ongoing integration process. The FAA approval means that the airline's training, policies, procedures, and manuals are now integrated, but the two brands will continue to operate independently. Over the longer term, Alaska Air Group has said that the single operating certificate will pave the way for further integration initiatives, such as a collective bargaining agreement with labor, and moving next spring into a single system for scheduling and passenger services, at which point Hawaiian's HA flight code will go away and be replaced by Alaska's AS code. Alaska Airlines acquired Hawaiian in September 2024. And now, news of new travel services and improvements. After nearly 2 years of declining quarterly revenue, Avis Budget Group since July 1st has a new CEO and a new CFO, and its third quarter earnings call they outlined their pivot for the company's strategy. Avis's curbside Avis First product launched in the U.S. in July and earlier this month in Europe reflects that principle according to the CEO. Concierge service has expanded rapidly at our earliest airports in response to strong demand. We've tripled our footprint from a dozen locations at launch to 36 today. Avis First proves that when we deliver consistent excellence, we earn both the customer satisfaction and meaningful margin expansion. Avis Budget Group reported a third quarter revenue exceeding $3.5 billion, just a 1% increase year over year for the first time in 8 quarters. Net income was $359 million, compared with $237 million 1 year prior. European budget airline Wizz Air has relaunched its popular all-you-can-fly membership, offering frequent flyers unlimited travel opportunities for $580 per year or €499. Announced at a press conference in London, the program returns for a third time, targeting both leisure and business travelers. The $580 travel pass is available to 10,000 members across 34 countries in Europe and the Middle East. Each flight segment comes with an additional fee and must be booked 72 hours prior to departure, depending on seat availability. On average, pass holders use the membership around 9 times a year. After 5 years of frozen routes, IndiGo's return to China signals progress in political and business ties. A real test will be whether travelers follow. IndiGo operated the first flight from Calcutta to China on Sunday, marking the return of a non-stop air connectivity between India and China after 5 years. The service will run daily using the airline's Airbus A320 aircraft. Last week, China Eastern Airlines also announced that it will resume service between Shanghai and Delhi starting November 9th. The route will operate 3 times a week. And finally, some technology news. Cornerstone Information Systems has launched a new data management platform designed to bring together data from across increasingly fragmented travel procurement landscape. The platform, Upstream, brings together data from booking, expense, ERP, and HR systems into a single framework for finance, travel, and operations teams. That brings companies more accurate data, particularly as adoption of NDC and new distribution models are scattering data across multiple sources and platforms. Cornerstone added that Upstream is scalable, making it accessible to mid-market customers who are often priced out of advanced travel and expense data tools. American Express Global Business Travel is investing more in its ambitions in the small and mid-sized client segment. American Express Global Business Travel this week launched Toolbox, a digital platform that puts a freemium model consulting service in the hands of SME travel buyers. It's targeted to companies in which the person who manages travel may have a broad remit and is not fully focused on the category. The digital consulting platform is configured with an upfront survey that level sets the maturity of the user's program. Based on the survey, the program receives a score driven by some AI-powered analysis operating in the back end of the interface. Once the analysis happens, the toolbox retrieves background learning resources from the MXGBT consulting stash, plus the toolbox pushes out some benchmarking dashboards based on aggregated SME data across the MXGBT client base. It identifies areas for improvements. They can make changes and reassess on the tool as well. The tool doesn't stop at the freemium level. It is available to any MXGBT customer. Amadeus Citric has launched a global partner program for travel management companies with the goal of fostering long-term, mutually beneficial relationships. With the Prime Partner Program, TMCs will have access to exclusive operational support and have the chance to get a first look at Amadeus Citric's innovations. Initial partners in the program include Arrive Agencies, BCD Travel, Der Business Travel, Lufthansa Citigroup, among others. With that, thank you for joining us, and I would like to ask you to tune in again next week on Monday morning to get your weekly update. We hope that you will make this a regular part of your week and listen in while you're on the move or sitting back and sipping your coffee. You can subscribe to this podcast by searching Business Travel 360 on Apple or Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeart, or Pandora. Be sure to share this podcast with everyone you know so that they can also benefit from getting to know more about what's up in business travel. You can always find more information on businesstravel360.com. Have a great day and travel well.